Jai Guruji, Jai Sangat Ji. Today I will be reading two satsangs. The first satsang is by Nandita Chandar. I smelt roses. I met Guruji thanks to a close family friend. The first time I went to the mandir, I did not know what to expect. There was a hall with large pictures of Guruji, lots of people sitting on the floor, and Guruji on his throne. I too went and touched his feet and sat against the wall, looking around. Every time I would look towards Guruji, I felt he was looking at me. I closed my eyes and I was listening to the beautiful bhajans. Once or twice I tried to open my eyes, but I felt I was unable to. Suddenly, I experienced something very strange. I smelt roses. I was not an essence. It was not an essence or an incense stick because there was none around. It was the smell of fresh roses. There were waves of that fragrance coming, and all I could do was to sit and observe it. I suddenly opened my eyes, looking around for roses, but other than the artificial ones, none were there. I looked at Guruji and he was looking at me. He said, Hun das, practical RKC. Tell me, can you explain what you have just experienced? And I couldn't. I knew not to question his ways. I was taken to Guruji because the doctors had discovered a tumor in my brain. It was a pituitary adenoma arcing above my optic nerve, and if it grew any further, I could lose my vision. I was on strong meditation, 3 bromocropton medicines a day, which would leave me miserable. I am a working professional who just could not give my best because of the side effects. I would go to Guruji, sit there, and quietly pray, hoping there was a shortcut. I hoped that I could opt for surgery, get the tumor out, and stop having medicines. Guruji granted me my wish. In spite of the medicines, the tumor was growing, and in October 2004, I was operated on. Before the surgery, I went to take Guruji's blessings. He asked me the date and the hospital and doctor's name, blessed me, and said, Go, my blessings are with you. Nothing can happen to you. And I knew nothing would. It was a complicated surgery, but I was on a high. I knew Guruji was with me throughout. My recovery was so fast that the radiation therapy that was to begin 2 months later could be started in 3 weeks. Nobody could believe it. I came to thank Guruji the day I came back from the hospital, and he said, Congratulations on your new life. And I knew that it was a new life he had given me. During my radiation sessions, too, I had no side effects. I could see people coming on wheelchairs and stretchers. Instead, I would go to work till afternoon, get my radiation done later in the afternoon, and be roaming till late evening, shopping, dining out, and leading a normal life, all thanks to his blessings. While I was going to Apollo Hospital for my radiation therapy, Guruji helped many other people who I came in contact with. I remember there was a 9-year-old child suffering from a malignant brain tumor. He had to go through chemotherapy, and the medicines were having an adverse effect. They had to discontinue his treatment for some time, and his poor father, who had taken leave from his government job as they lived far, was very worried. The longer the treatment took, the more time he would need to take leave, and they would have much less money to manage the child's treatment with. I had a locket of Guruji in my bag. I always carried a picture or locket of Guruji with me. I told his mother to touch that locket to the boy's eyes every day. I knew my Guruji would help him. I met them after a week after I had gone for my radiation. The boy was back for his chemotherapy, looking much better. His mother told me that from the time she had started putting Guruji's photo on his forehead every morning, the boy was getting better, and the doctors were amazed at the recovery. When my son was 2.5 years old, just after my surgery, we discovered that he would bleed from his rectum while passing stool. He was clinically investigated. We were told that the conography would take about 45 minutes to an hour. As we waited outside, I kept praying, Guruji, please be inside with Jay, my son. The procedure took nearly 3 hours. When the doctors called us in, they were concerned. They said they took so long as they had found a nasty rash in the biopsy sample. I went crazy for those 4 days. I would go to Guruji and sitting there would just pray for his blessings. Guruji blessed Jay. The reports came clear. It was just a mild infection, which was treated with a week's dosage of medicines. Since then, we have forgotten about it. Guruji has been there for me always, fulfilling my every wish, whether for material things or health issues. When you go to Guruji, he knows what we need but cannot see yet. He gives you both. You do not need to ask. I can carry on writing all the day to day happenings where Guruji helps us, but like he says, short mein sunai, tell it in brief. Thank you, Guruji, for being there for all of us. The next satsang is by Mrs. Naresh Khandelwal. Saved from the three messengers of death, Mr. Naresh Khandelwal's wife, in her early 30s, fell ill. She was afflicted with dengue fever and her kidneys were infected. Doctors at Gurgaon refused treatment as her platelet count was below 9,000. On top of it, on a Tuesday, a vein burst and unable to contain the flow of blood. Doctors advised a discharge. She was shifted to Max Hospital in Noida. Naresh's brother was a devotee of Guruji. He and his wife were perturbed by the sequence of events and called up another devotee to ask if they could visit Guruji on Tuesday and convey the problem. They were told not to worry, that Guruji is God, that he would not let anyone who had come to his sharan suffer. In the meantime, the doctors at Max Hospital had also given up on her. Thursday came and Naresh went to Guruji. As he was touching Guruji's feet, he could not help himself and told Guruji that his wife was suffering from dengue. Guruji's response was in itself a promise. Dengue? Dengue ki honda hai? Chal ja, kuch nahi hoya usnu. What's dengue? Go, nothing will happen to her. As soon as Naresh came back to the hospital, the wife's platelet count started going up with every test from 12,000 to 30,000, 50,000, 100,000, 150,000. She was responding to the treatment with Guruji's blessings. One night at the hospital, she woke up screaming. Everyone around her asked what happened. The lady said she had a nightmare. She had seen three short black men dragging her away. The people around her were not able to stop them, even though she was pleading to be rescued. Then she remembered Guruji and prayed to him for help. Guruji came, and the Yamdoots went away. The lady was saved. She saw the same dream twice and started feeling that it was only Guruji who had granted her life, because only he can do so. Within a week, she was discharged. She recovered and was put on dialysis in order to make her kidney functional. Today, she ably performs the roles of a mother, wife, and daughter. Guruji shooed the messengers of death away from her. Who else can do this but God? Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji, Shukrana Sangat ji.